My policy is that I should do everything to the best of my ability. I have worked for other companies doing similar things. You have to work to their script if you're going to work for somebody else. Whereas if you're working for yourself, you can write your own script. That's something I really appreciate. But also, I am known as an out-of-the-box thinker. And that doesn't tend to work inside big boxes, which are other companies. So that's why we set up Clarity Legals. We've got what we think is a unique service. Looking at the world differently is certainly a strength in going into a business. If you don't look outside of yourself, then you are doomed to fail. Because if you are going to run a business, you've got to run a business for a market that exists, not one that you think ought to exist. Because if you're running a business, you've got to make money and you've got to be successful. There is no option otherwise. And so therefore, you must research the market you're going to look at and say, is there room for me in that market? Can I fit that? And how am I going to fit it? And how am I going to make a success of that? Research, 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 research. They're the three most important things about running a business. You have got to look at what the market is, what you can provide for that market, and then you've got to market yourself to that market. Lots of markets, but that's what it's all about. Market research. Find out what you're good at, see whether the market is there for what you're good at, provide it. I put lots of hours into the business. Approximately 80% of my time is actually what we call non-productive, which is why legal services tend to look very expensive, because you can only see 20% of what you're paying for. The other 80% is about research, it's about looking into the subject, it's about, again, thinking outside the box. Where are the dangers going to come from for your business? What are the threats to it, in other words? Threats could be competition, threats could be legislation, threats can be events that happen to you or your family or your business, which you hadn't previously thought of. And so 80% of my time is actually going through all of those factors and presenting a solutions package. I love meeting people, particularly business owners that have got drive. It's like an energy that exudes from other business owners that I feed off of. I take an interest in what my clients do and whether they're successful or not. And that sort of thing gives me a buzz. It doesn't necessarily fill the bank account up, but it does give me a great deal of satisfaction. Lifestyle as a business owner, that's almost an oxymoron. Having a life or having a business, some people say you can't have both. Your business becomes your life becomes your business. Your family have to be very patient, because at times when you should be enjoying family life, something will come across which is business related. A text will arrive, an email will arrive. You can't just say, actually it's not my working day, I'm going to ignore that. So it does take a great deal of dedication and a great deal of self-discipline, because you do need to make sure that there are times for you and for those people that you love. You can't run a business 24/7, but actually inside your head, that's really what's happening. It's always ticking. 35 years ago, I went to a seminar where there was an elderly gentleman. He was probably about the same age that I am now, but he appeared to be an elderly gentleman when I was a tender teenager. And he said, running your own business, think about it and stop right there. He'd run a business for many years and he'd found it hard work and it had destroyed relationships. You have to be totally dedicated to doing that business. You have to be totally committed. You have to have the utmost self-belief in what you do, despite what happens, because there will be things that happen which you don't like. You have to just brush them aside. You have to be hard. You have to be dedicated at what you're doing. You have to be single-minded. You also have to be aware that other people can have an input, a positive input on what you're doing. Don't shut them out. That's quite important.